the first three-dimensional stereo immersive 32-bit video game system ever.
So it's an 80 Hz, no IPD adjustment, LCD fast switch panel. It's got pointless 6DoF with barely any change to the resolution or FOV. Why was this thing even announced? That's what we're going to try and answer here today. Also, I've had way too long without a haircut and don't really own any hats, so... Looking at the headset, the first thing that jumps out is 100% the 6DoF. Despite this not being a mobile HMD, Oculus have gone right ahead and stuck 6 cameras on this thing so that you can instantly track an environment without the need of base stations. Well, yeah, this is gonna save some people a bit of time on the initial setup of the Rift S. I can't really see it having any use past that. From the short time that we've had to test 6DoF, we've seen that it is good and it's very nice, but it's not base stations. Especially with things like reaching behind you or underneath you or over the top of you, the tracking is not there. So, and this isn't an objective point I can give since I've been able to try 6DoF myself, but it would seem that from what we've seen, 6DoF is a disadvantage over base stations. Sure, in an objective sense, maybe you can say, I hate base stations, I hate having them on my walls, I want a headset that is just, you know, tracked from itself. But in all other respects, I can't see this being an upgrade. At $400, I'm pretty impressed for a new mainline VR system. That's a pretty good price. And maybe looking at the specs will shed some light on how it's so cheap. With a per-eye resolution of 1280 by 1440, the Rift S is not turning any heads. It is 0.8... Alright, I'm stupid, okay? I'm gonna say that the screen is 0.8 times larger than the Rift screen throughout this whole video. I did the math wrong. Thank God for my friend Giles for correcting me. The Rift S is 1.19105 times larger than the Rift screen. My point still stands that this is not a big enough change to warrant a whole new version of the device. But yeah, I just thought I'd throw this in. I'm going to keep saying 0.8. Please take it as 1.19105. Times larger than the Vive and Rift base resolution. So it is slightly better than what you most likely already have, but it's not a big improvement. For an idea of how pointless this resolution change is, when changing from the Vive to the Vive Pro, the experience wasn't all that crazy for me. I definitely noticed, but it wasn't like groundbreaking change to VR. So if you already own a Rift, you're not going to be all that impressed by this panel. As well as that, it is the same panel as the one in the Oculus Go. So there's no IPD adjustment, we found out. It's all software IPD adjustment, meaning there's most likely only one screen in the HMD. On top of that, it's the same resolution as the Oculus Go. And the resolution on the Oculus Go is not very impressive. I do find it hard to compare the Rift to the Rift S at the minute, as I'm not a Rift owner, but I am a Go owner, and I can tell you the display on the Go isn't that impressive. The worst of it is the light, for sure. It's always kind of dim. I'm not a normal tech reviewer, so I'm not the best at describing screens and monitors. But on the max brightness, there is no such thing as black. There is only grey. And on all other settings, it's kind of hard to see a true black anyway. And that's mostly due to the fact that this is a fast switch LED display. So a fast switch LED display is actually really good for VR. It allows us to make super cheap panels that can still switch as fast as such as like an OLED or an AMOLED display can do. Fast switching is vitally important for VR. If the time between each frame is too long, you can start to get a kind of ghosting effect within the headset. So then being able to make a fast switch LCD display is wonderful. We get cheaper screens with that same sweet fast switching we get from OLED. And that's great for cheap headsets like the Oculus Go or maybe some of the Windows MR headsets. But this is supposed to be the Oculus Rift. And you know, it wouldn't even be that bad if the Rift didn't have a better display than it. Sure, there's a minor resolution upgrade in the Rift S, but I'd still choose the Rift display. Both for its much better colour accuracy and for its much darker blacks, giving you a way more contrasted image. In terms of FOV, which I thought was going to be the big changes in our next-gen VR headsets, since at the moment, it's kind of like looking through goggles. Having a full immersive screen would be amazing. Pimax can do it and have shown that it's possible. They didn't want to do that. Apparently it's just a little bit bigger than the FOV, and not even big enough for any of the testers to notice. I watched a bunch of hands-on videos. I don't think I heard a single person even mention FOV, so no one noticed. On top of even that, this headset weighs more than the original Rift. And just a little extra note, I just found this out. They have removed the headphones that the Oculus Rift was originally praised for when it was first released. They're using built-in speakers similar to the ones that the Oculus Go used. Genuinely trying to think of objective betters from the Rift S to the Rift is quite difficult. All you really have is the resolution is minorly higher, the FOV is minorly higher, 6DoF doesn't require base stations. I'm not buying a new headset for this. On top of that, they've lowered the refresh rate. Where did that even come from? Whose idea was that? I think they're trying to remake the Rift, essentially. Probably realised that the OLED display on it is a bit too expensive for the price model they're going for anyway. If you want to sell a headset at about 300 quid, why not make the screen a little bit lower quality and put a bit more money into maybe raising the resolution, improving the tracking, coming with a second base station from, beginning. Maybe base stations were always a bad idea for the Oculus, and something at this low price zone should be 6DoF. And we should expect to only use base stations on really expensive hardware like the Vive Pro. But they haven't established that. It's too late to establish these things. We've seen the other product. It's better. We already own it. Why is anyone going to buy a Rift S? Is anyone really sat there in their room thinking, you know what I'm looking forward to? Being able to do the same thing, but those cameras aren't on the wall. That's going to change the whole world. If you really did want a higher resolution headset, 0.8 times the increase isn't really worth it anyway. I was really worried about making this video because I wondered if I was wrong, if I was missing something, but about an hour after the press conference I checked on Reddit and Twitter and everyone else is in the same boat. They don't understand why this thing was made. Yeah, and that's it. It's really disappointing. I wish it was better news. If you do want good news, the Quest is coming soon and Beat Saber's going to be on it. Get ready to be stood in your town square. Can't wait to be on a long plane fight and get out of my seat and into the aisle and be like... So yeah, that's all I got for breaking news. More stuff. I think, was it Lenovo or someone put out a new headset. It's apparently higher resolution than the Vive Pro. I don't know. It's got 6DoF. It's part of the Windows MR thing, but it runs on Steam VR. So I don't know. That's coming out. There's a bunch of other stuff happening in Vive. Keep up with GDC. If anything else crazy happens, I'll jump right in here and tell you about it. But yeah, until the next one. See you guys later. Go enjoy VR, and I might see you in Onward. Goodbye.